Hi, I'm Dr. Watt, the healthy neurosurgeon. Today I want to talk to you about high-intensity interval training. Now, before I go any further, let me say that any exercise you do at all is probably better than no exercise at all. So if you say it's either taking the dog for a slow walk or sitting on the couch surfing channels, then by all means, go walk the dog. The problem is that aerobic training done at low intensity for long periods of time is very inefficient. Your body's good at conserving resources. So let's say, for example, you're jogging 2 miles every morning. Now, first off, good for you for jogging, but your body says, uh-oh, you're out of bed, you're probably going to jog. How do we consume the least number of calories, utilize the smallest amount of oxygen, pump out the fewest number of heartbeats to just get this jog over with? It doesn't stress your system enough. People that don't like exercise tend to make fun of the occasional long-distance runner or jogger found dead beside the road. Now we know that's arguing from the exception and it's not a valid way to make your point. But there's a kernel of truth in this. Because the slow aerobic exercise doesn't stress the heart that much, you don't have the reserve when a sudden terrible strain comes along. This is where high-intensity interval training comes in. It's based on a cycle in which you have periods of very intense exercise followed by periods of gradual recovery, then back to very intense exercise and then slowing it down again to recover, back to intense, slowing it down to recover. In my age management practice, we use a test called a VO2 max to see what your optimum pulse rate is as your target for an interval. But if you don't have access to a VO2 max test, you can still do interval training. The key is the high intensity portion has to be just that, a full out sprint. You've got to go for it like your life depends on it. Then you slow it down, don't stop, slow down to recover. Then you go at it again like your life depends on it. If you're doing it right, you're probably gasping for breath and wondering if you're going to puke. Now, the good side of this, though, is if you do these intervals correctly, 3 or 4 times, that only takes 15 to 17 minutes to do, depending on how long you warm up and cool down. And if you do it 3 times a week, that's all the aerobic training you need to be really healthy. So, when I say you should do high-intensity interval training, it actually is to save you time and get you more efficient results. When I say you've got to run like your life depends on it when you do an interval, it's because your life does. Just being up moving isn't enough. If you want your heart and lungs to be stronger and be here for you, you've got to exercise them just like you would any other muscle. It's not brain surgery.